So I see this guy, like, in the midst of this crowd, come out, and he starts walking like this fucking, like, lizard person. I thought he was like like he was literally, like, his spine was like an S shape. And he looked like a cartoon. And he had this red leather jacket with black accents on it. It was like this leather jacket, and it had a Batman symbol on the back. He had boots on, like cowboy boots that had Batman symbols on the side, and they were red as well. He had red leather pants. He looked like Billy Idol because he had this blonde, slicked up hair. And I'm seeing this guy just fucking making his way across the crowd, and I'm like, is this guy real? Welcome to the worst podcast on the internet. We like to keep it real on here, and I know the last 2 episodes were fucking bad. But as always, I'm Creature. Follow me on Instagram at Creature of Comedy. And I'm going to be more interactive on there. I'm going to upload behind the scenes footage of stuff. I'm actually recording shit now with my phone. I'm going to be releasing more shit. Maybe more content, maybe skits. Just go follow it once again at Creature of Comedy and get tuned in with what the fuck I'm doing. So it's been about a month since the last time I've done my last fucking podcast. And I was supposed to record, well, it's been 3 weeks, but I'm going to try to go ham on this episode. So it's going to take me about a week to edit. But anyways, I was supposed to record this podcast last week, but I ended up making music instead. I just got fucking inspired for some reason. And I just made 2 songs in one night. I released them on my Instagram at Creature of Comedy. And they're okay. They're not that bad. They're just really fastly made songs just to complete my EP that I'm planning to release on Spotify, as well as this podcast. I know you guys have been wondering when the fuck that was going to happen. It's going to happen pretty soon. I just got to have enough time to fucking really get in tune with all this shit. So I need to start making these more frequently too, so I can get better at talking to a fucking camera. It's weird. You may not think it's very weird, and if people are good at it, good for you. I am not one of those people. So
good for you.
But I really like doing this podcast. It's fun. I get to talk about shit that I want to talk about, and you guys get to hear and probably go, this guy's half-ass crazy. But you know, it's a good. It's almost like therapy, in a weird way. I get to talk about things that I just think that are important or need to be fucking talked about. We have a lot to talk about today, a shitload. I mean, like I said, it's been like a month, and at this point right now, 3 weeks, but it's been a while. A lot of crazy shit has happened. Coolio literally died, I think, 2 days ago, somewhere around there. So that's something that we're not going to talk about. But, you know, he died of cardiac arrest, so pretty much a heart attack, which sucks ass, man. I mean, he's in gangster paradise. So ironic, but we're in a weird fucking time, dude. Like, so many people are dying. And that's kind of a good segue to what I'm going to be talking about first. And, you know, like I said, I have a lot. Like, this episode is the one you want to tune in on. I'm fucking hyped. I feel good. Really going to edit the shit out of this so all that dead air is fucking gone. But next week is going to be our next upload is going to be the Halloween episode. So I'm really fucking excited about that. That's going to be fucking dope. I don't know what I'm going to be yet. I wanted to be Macho Man Randy Savage, so we'll see how that goes. But that's really it, you know? Well, another thing, too, is I know I've been sporadic. I know you guys are like, maybe you don't subscribe, or maybe you don't do this, and you may not, you know, I really don't promote this a lot. I want to keep it on, you know, like a low level of attention, because, you know, I want to get better before I start fucking like spitting all this shit out. Like, go watch my podcast, and then you click on it and it's fucking horrible. You're not going to want to watch it, right? So I just want to take my time and thank the people that are watching now. But since I'm so sporadic, that'd be a good reason to subscribe and hit that bell and get notified every time I upload a new fucking video. So without further ado, Let's start the pod. So the Queen of England died I think it was about 3 weeks ago. And when I was writing, bullet points and stuff, this was like the first fucking story I wanted to cover because it was a hot topic, but now it's not. Well, I think it was yesterday. I saw somebody fucking post something about the reason, like her autopsy and the reasoning for death was old age. I think we all fucking knew that. She was like 96 years old. She would fucking die from taking a deep breath. You know what I'm saying? So I saw that and I was like, what the fuck's the point of that? But, I think it's still a good topic. Maybe I could talk about it from my own perspective. I'm not really fucking a big fan of like, I guess you would call it the hierarchy or the fucking whatever. I don't know what the fuck you call that bullshit, the king and queen, but I was never a big fan. I heard a lot of conspiracies. Like, as soon as it came out, dude, conspiracy theorists were fucking going insane, like saying some crazy shit, and I like to entertain them because they're funny. Most of them are. Like, most of them are so fucking funny and so far out that you're like, how did you even think that was logically fucking possible? But I saw people, post, their condolences. They were fucking sad that she was dead. I saw people posting some fucking wild shit, like just saying some crazy fucked up shit. There were people celebrating her death. There were people, just fucking just sad. But for the most part, as soon as it happened and the news broke, I kind of just didn't give a fuck. I was more sad that Betty White died. I love Betty White. She's the real queen. She was the queen of the United States, baby. She was the fucking queen. She was, Golden Girls was my childhood on fucking Lifetime, bro. My grandma loved that show. So, every time I came over, it'd be on and, fucking Blanche would be in there being a whore. And, Betty, I forgot B. Arthur is one of my favorites. She's awesome. But Betty White always came. No, let's be real. The grandma was the fucking best. The grandma was the best, but she had more of an impact on my life than the Queen of England. It's weird that people care so much about people who don't care about them at all. And I'm not saying you shouldn't like celebrities or movie stars or musicians or whatever, but when you get to an obsession, that's when it gets real. And I only bring that up because I watched a weird fucking video of this woman that was obsessed with her and she was like going crazy or whatever when she died. Then I saw Princess Diana fucking conspiracies. Apparently, like, she divorced Prince Andrew. They were in the middle of a divorce. I think it's either Andrew or Charles. I really don't know about this shit at all. But apparently she was having an affair and they found out, so they killed her. It was like an assassination. I don't know if that's true. I really don't. But I thought it was interesting. That's really, like, it was crazy that she was such a fucking big, like, figure, and when she died, no one really kind of gave a fuck. It wasn't like a breaking story like when Kobe Bryant died. That everybody was fucked up by that. Everybody was hurt because we all got to witness his greatness. But her, I just felt like when she died, no one just gave a fuck at all. So that's all I really wanted to say on that, because, like, I don't know. It's just we're at a weird time where we're like kind of taking off the masks of bad people that run this world. And she was one of them. And there's many more, but I don't want to get flagged and my video taken down and all of a sudden I'm hanging off of a doorknob. That's a joke. Don't cancel me. And cancel culture too. The Jeffrey Dahmer thing is fucking insane that, all these people are like trying to cancel people like Kesha and Katy Perry. I see where they're coming from, but it's like we have to draw the line between being literal and a human being. The shit that people say, it's almost like cancel culture's those people that play like pee-wee football and take it too serious, and like you see like this, like a Rudy character come along and he doesn't know any better and he doesn't play by the rules, and they're like, actually he fucking didn't score that touchdown, he ran out of bounds. But we all know that. But then you're like, well, it's not that bad, and it's fuck. I don't even know why I use that as a fucking example, but you get what I'm saying. Like they're just people who want to be mad for no reason. I just don't get it, man. I don't. I would never want to cancel anybody or ruin their life over something that is not that big of a fucking deal. To me, those were bars, bro. Kesha. I mean, I heard that Kesha song was horrible, but the Katy Perry lyric was a fucking bar, bro. That was a bar, man. She was dropping some fucking heat. I think. Is it that Dark Horse song? Because that's a deep dope song. I fuck with Katy Perry. Fucking what's that one fucking song? You and me, I don't fucking know. I don't think I know it. She had a lesbian song or some shit. I like that song. I Kissed a Girl. I like that song. Damn, dude, that song takes me back to a time when MP3 players were a big thing. And remember fucking MP3 players? That shit's like God bless my grandpa's fucking soul, but he still has an like he uses a USB. Uh, God, I mean, I love him, man. You got to love your elderly, man. You got like it's funny to watch them fuck with technology. It's hilarious. But I would say that my phone keeps going off. That's embarrassing. The one thing I can say though is there was a death that really affected me, and that was of the legendary battle rapper Pat Stay. And when it was announced that he died, I felt like I fucking lost a brother. And that's so weird because we've never met. You know, I've never met this guy. But the impact that he left on me, and I mean, I see all these other celebrities. I didn't know that people were into battle rap like that because I guess my environment, no one really liked it. But to explain how he left such an impact on me, I'm going to explain it from the beginning. So I got on the internet very fucking late in life. First of all, I was poor, so I couldn't even afford a computer. But my grandfather bought one in like 2007. He bought a Windows Vista, which is the worst fucking computer known to man. Like literally, if you ask any person who knows about computers, they would tell you that Windows Vista was the worst one ever created. I mean, it would crash. It would fucking like, I remember it would just like freeze out of fucking nowhere and wouldn't crash, but then would crash after it came back. It was just a horrible fucking computer. It was slow. It would take forever to download shit. Like LimeWire was a bitch on that motherfucker. It's probably all the porn I downloaded, but he got this computer and he got internet. He got, you know, AOL when you had to put the disc in, the fucking dial up. It would make that noise and then you could finally get on the internet. And it was so fucking slow. Even back then, you know, that was the fastest speeds, but it was very slow. The first thing I did was get on MySpace and create a MySpace, add all my friends, and I discovered a website that changed my life, and that's YouTube, what we're on right now. It changed my life because I watched people do covers, and I was like, I want to do that, and that's what kind of started my music, I wouldn't say career, but little spat. And, you know, I still love to make music. You know, I fucking play my guitar at least twice a week. I used to play it every day. But, you know, lately I've just been kind of fucking busy trying to be an adult. And it's not that bad. You know, but you got to keep your priorities straight and shit like that. But anyways, you know, fucking I get on the internet and I'm on YouTube and first thing I discover is covers. The second thing I discover is Shane fucking Dawson. I don't know if the guy that got canceled really, really bad. But when you're a kid, it was a different time. You know, you liked raunchy comedy. You know, it was a different time. That's as far as I'm gonna go on that. And I discovered rap battles. And you know, I was watching, you know, like bully versus nerd battle rap, and you know, just shit that you like two battle rappers in the street or something like that. And then they came across this video that was like titled like white guy versus white guy battle rap. I clicked on it and it ended up being King of the Dot, which a lot of people probably have no clue what I'm talking about. But the people for the people who do, King of the Dot is the Canadian battle rap league created by Organic, who used to actually be like the first rendition of what battle rap was against a beat, almost like the 8 Mile shit that you saw. It was against a beat, and you would fucking like battle rap and freestyle and shit and insult each other. Then there became these written leagues, like the a URL. There was a shitload. URL Beast Mode. There was another one called Beast Mode. It was pretty bad. Then there was UW, Rare Breed. I mean, a shitload, man. Now there's GTX. I mean, Grind Time. I forgot about Grind Time. That was my second favorite channel. I always stayed loyal to King of the Dot because it was the first one I found. But also they had like comedy rappers, which I love the best. But so did Grind Time. But by the time I really started watching them, they were on their downfall. Disaster seems to be trying to recreate that again with GTX, which is Grind Time. But I started watching this because of this video. And I stayed because this one battle rapper named OZ dropped the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Here's that clip.
I'm gonna be king. The rhymes I'm gonna bring are gonna make you fucking burn and sting until your virgin thing gets a fucking person swing.
Now, watching that as I think I was 16, a 16-year-old kid, you can't help but to get curious on what the fuck else is on this fucking channel. So I click on it and I discover, people, the Prodigal Son, Mischief, what was that one guy's name? Lavish Language, that's what I was thinking of. OD. That's how he would introduce himself. Play that now. OD! There was Caliente. There was a lot of guys. So I started watching these rap battles and getting into the character. There was like Hollow Hand that came out. Kid Twist was my favorite from the jump. He ended up being the champion, and then Hollow Hand came in and pretty much bullied him out of the title, which was a gold chain back then. And Hollow Hand started killing it. But I noticed this guy on the sidelines. He usually was a judge. People highly respected him, and I always wondered why. And it was because he was in a league that started all of this, and it was called the Elements League, which I got into after studying him for a little while. And it was the first rap battle league ever created in Canada. How crazy is that, right? So close to Detroit, where Eminem's from. So maybe that's why it happened like that. But the Elements League was the first real fucking league coming out of Canada or anywhere in the United States. So finally, he decides to battle, and that guy's name was Pat Stay. And at first, I didn't like him. He seemed very cocky and arrogant, but I didn't realize that he had a reason to be that way because he was a fucking, he's already not a living legend, but he was definitely a Canadian legend at this time. And he ended up winning, the champion, the chain and reign champion for a very long time. I think 3 years. He has the longest fucking reign and had some very historical battles. I didn't like him for a while even then, he was almost like the Bret Hart, the Bret Hart. I was going to say Brett Favre, holy shit. The Bret Hart of battle rap. He was so technical and hard to beat. My favorite, rappers at the time were like Disaster, who was definitely a legend by this time. Dumbfounded. I really loved Fresco. Fresco's fucking dope, bro. Fresco's really awesome. People like that. Pat Stay didn't really capture my attention until he left King of the Dot. And, he battled Tay Rock, beat him. He beat Danny Myers, beat Averb. And his last battle that I think was uploaded and released was Shotgun Shug, and that was his best battle ever. But, he had some really good battles, like the Calico battle. He battled Head Ice. He battled a bunch of fucking people, but whenever he was in Canada, it was hard to respect that because they loved him so much. So it was almost like a at-home or home court advantage is what I was saying or trying to say. But it wasn't until then that I really just got into him. And I was like, fuck, dude, like he's a fucking beast. And literally 3 weeks ago, like right around the time the Queen died, he got murdered in Nova Scotia, Canada. He got stabbed to death. And he didn't die there, but he pretty much bled out in the hospital and died. And it was crazy to see all the reaction to his death. It made me feel like cool because like I didn't know how many people really liked rap battle. You know, nobody where I was from knew what the fuck rap battle was. I tried to get my friend in it, and one time we like got really drunk and fucking battle rapped in this like storage container. You know, like the trailers. I mean, we lived in the country, so they have crazy shit like that. It's very common in Texas. If you're from somewhere else, you probably think that we're weird, but trust me, Texas is the best fucking place to live. It's awesome here. But we're doing this in this, this fucking container. But that's as far as I could relate to people with rap battle. But it wasn't until I saw people, I mean, Drake was at a lot of events, especially King of the Dot. I think it was at a URL event as well recently. And, to see him post condolences, Method Man, of course. I think Andy Milonakis. I love Andy Milonakis, so it was weird to see that. There's a lot of people, like a lot of celebrities, but, Eminem, of course, he posted a fucking status. Or not a status. What do you call them now? Tweets? Yeah, he posted a tweet. But then, like a couple days ago, he released a video talking about him. So, we all felt like we lost a brother. And he was a legend, and rap battle was such a close-knit community, all the fans and stuff, that it's a little different from everything else because it's so underground. But, it was very an impactful fucking death. For everyone that was a fan of him, man, and he was such a good dad. I mean, he was such a good person. I mean, even, watch this video and after this, tell me that this guy's not a fucking good person.
Just thinking out loud. Calvin asks about my mom a lot lately. Just about, some of the nice things she does and she did and what kind of person she was. And I give him everything because, my mom was the nicest person in the world, and just all the love and comfort and affection she gave. I want him to know that. And he'll ask like, what about me? Like, what did she do with me? And she didn't have much time with him, but there were some things, and, he knows that she's in heaven. And he said today, are you always going to be my best friend? Because I always tell him, I'll always be your best friend forever. And he said, yeah. I said, what about when I said, nah, yeah, of course. He said, what about when I'm 96? I said, well, I won't be around, Calvin, when you're 96. Unfortunately, I'll be in heaven with Mama. And he goes, but I'll just hold on to you when you die, just so I can go with you to heaven. Because I don't want you to go without me. I was just like, man. I know he means it too. And not trying to be like, like me and him are so close. Me and my son are so close. Best friends, you know what I mean? Inseparable, And it's gonna fucking hurt one day. Not that, that's obviously far away, but yeah. I can't even stand being away from him for days, let alone. Anyways, what a beautiful soul. There's his mom calling in right now. Great mama. Peace.
And he was a good battle rapper. And if you don't believe me there, listen to these bars that he's fucking dropping. Like, I'm going to put like the 5 best bars that I could find as quick as possible while I'm uploading this. And it's not even close to all that he's done. So go check out his fucking work too. But these are like the 5 best fucking bars that I could find in a short notice.
See, my
magnificent, swag dripping, I'm way too smooth, y'all. The white Snoop Dogg, I can moonwalk with steel-toed boots on. Crack the fact he's fragile and sensitive. Pumping adrenaline, yelling on that aggressive and hype tip. Rapping about smoking crack, shooting heroin, and railing that white shit. You sniff coke through the pen that you write with. So your lines are just a story on how pathetic your life is. I pack those punches that'll make your chest and backbone touch. Collapse both lungs, attack mode. Cut you in half with the X-Acto gut like a mackerel and just pick through them like an afro puff. If you was a real dude, you wouldn't have to act so tough. If you really trap so much, you wouldn't open your trap so much.
So I mean, he was so good with the pen, man. He was amazing. He was a good guy. You know, I think he had a stepdaughter, and he had his son, and you know, he absolutely loved and was obsessed with his son. And seeing that, to me, that's the kind of shit that warms my heart, is how somebody will be as a father, you know, because that's a big deal for me. You know, I want to be a really good dad, and seeing somebody actually do it is just fucking, it's a dope thing to see. So, you know, much love and respect to his family, and, you know, RIP to a big fucking legend, Pat fucking Stay, dude. Hopefully he's battle rapping in fucking heaven. Somebody. He's battle rapping somebody, man. He's battle rapping Betty White right now. You know, 2-1, 2-1. And if you don't understand that, you're not a battle rap fan, but 2-1, 2-1. And that's really all I had to say about that. Theo Von left Cats. I mean, it's been a fucking tough couple of weeks for me, man. Pat Stay dying and fucking Theo Von leaving Cats. It fucking sucks. But I understand why he's leaving, you know. I mean, we can't act like, you know, we didn't see this coming for sure, because ever since Theo moved to Nashville, the show hasn't been the same. And even before he didn't go, you know, just the adding of the Stevie Weeby and Eric Griffin. And, you know, I love them both. You know, I'm a big fan of Workaholics, so I love Eddie Griffin. Absolutely fucking love him. I watched his podcast the other day. More people should watch it. It's good. It's good content, especially once he makes with his girlfriend or wife. They're pretty good. And Stevie Weeby, I love Scissor Bros. Every once in a while, I just see a fucking thumbnail and click it. They always do wild shit, man. They're like the jackass of podcasts. But when they were added to the show, I felt like it just kind of fucked the feng shui up. I feel like even when they added Chappelle, when Derek, like as soon as Derek Poston left, I feel like the show wasn't the same, because his laugh added to the fucking comedy of it, you know. But listening, you know, being a fan and listening from the beginning, as soon as episode 1 came out, you know, I was hyped, because I mean, they had such a good chemistry on The Fighter and the Kid. That's where it all started, was The Fighter and the Kid. And that used to be an amazing podcast too. I actually discovered them because they interviewed Simon Rex, who I used to be such a big fan of through his character Dirt Nasty, who was a fucking parody rapper pretty much. Absolutely loved his fucking freestyles, dude. Like I've listened. I just covered. You know, I used to like battle rap, and he was a dirty rapper. He was like the Too Short of our time, and he actually ended up being in a battle rap on Grind Time, which was hilarious. It was a prop battle, but it was pretty funny. You know, at this time, you know, I was a big fan of that, so they did an interview with him, and I watched the interview, and I was like, who the fuck are these? Get 2 other guys. They're hilarious. And I think I'd stop. I didn't even watch after that, but I'd watch every once in a while. They did one with like Nick Swartzen, Chris D'Elia, and then Theo Von. And him and Brendan's chemistry was so good. And then they announced a show, and they released it, and that first episode was hilarious. You know, all their old fucking bits too. You know, Rip My Drip. There was a mom one too. I forgot, or Rate My Aunt or some shit like that. I forgot. It's been so long since because I fell in love with the show. You know, Theo Von would rip fucking Brendan, and Brendan would chime in with a good joke every once in a while, and Theo Von ripped it. Big Theo Von fan. Um, and then it just got different, man. They started adding shit, and you can tell that Theo stopped making fun of Brendan. That was like one of my favorite fucking parts. I don't hate Brendan. It's just he would come up with shit that was just so witty, and quick, and funny. But after I saw that, I saw it coming, so it didn't hurt me or whatever. So I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Um, and I still watch. I watched. Today's Friday. I watched the last episode yesterday. Um, but I feel like it's getting overshadowed by other podcasts. My favorite podcast right now is Kill Tony. Kill Tony is a fucking good podcast. Sometimes Tony gets on my fucking nerves. Hey guys. He gets on my fucking nerves. Sometimes you can tell like a joke will get him. Like every once in a while, someone will get him and you won't admit it. But it's a good fucking show. Tony's such a good fucking host. So quick-witted. Such a good roaster. That's the kind of comedy I like to do. I like to roast people. I like to say obscure shit as well. But I'm working on storytelling. I like storytelling. I like Joey. Joey Diaz is the funniest fucking guy alive, dude. Joey Diaz. He's one of the best storytellers, and those are one of the criteria that I want to put in my fucking stand up as well. So, but it's sad, and you see King of the Sting slowly fucking dying. I love Chris and I love Eric. I like Chris, but sometimes he pisses me off the way he treats Brendan, and it's like, bro, that dude resurrected your fucking career. Pay some respects, dude. But I love Chris D'Elia as well. I think he's one of the funniest guys alive as well. Not as funny as Joey Diaz, though. I think most people aren't. My favorite comedian, I think, is Louis C.K., even though he did that weird shit, but, that's unexplainable. But, you can't, it doesn't take away from, what he's done. He's a hilarious comedian. The best. Seeing... I keep going on tangents, but, seeing Theo Von leave that show kind of solidified that show's definitely going to a different direction. It's not the same. It doesn't make me laugh as fucking much as it used to, for sure. Hopefully something happens where Theo's not, Theo will chime in every once in a while, but he's not. They should take the King off the name. Call it the Sting, the Wing, and the Sing or something. Start over, rebrand. Because, Theo's on his own journey, man. And to me, he's more successful than he was 3 years ago. I just watched the Caleb Presley interview. That shit was hilarious. Every time he interviews Riff Raff, fucking gold. If those two guys made a fucking podcast together, that'd be awesome. As far as King of the Sting, I think, it's pretty much over. It's not the same anymore. And like I said, they should drop the name and rebrand and do what they got to do because, everything else that Brendan Schaub's a part is falling apart. The Fighter and the Kid sucks. I watched the Liver King episode. It was good, but it used to be so fucking good, like amazing, like funny. And then, it just dropped off after a while. But, it's sad and I'll support them no matter what. And that's really all I had on that topic. But I just thought I wanted to talk about it and kind of fucking get what I feel about it out there. But the next thing I want to talk about is awesome. So this was either like 2012 or 2013. I'm not for fucking sure. It was somewhere around there. I knew I was like out of high school. I know that much. So my buddy moves out of his parents' house and he gets an apartment with another buddy of mine. Let me scoot up a little. So they had this apartment, and so this is the first time we had somewhere to really just like chill and do what we wanted to do. I need to give more love to this camera. That's it. But it was somewhere to like chill and have a good fucking time and do whatever we wanted. We're young adults. And we finally had a little pad to fucking do stuff in. And oh my God, that time is a time I'll never discuss. Let's just put it that way. But it was a fun time. Or was it? I don't know. But it was. It was a fun time. This was towards the end of that, you know. They were about to move out, and one of my friends was like, "Hey, let's all go to Marley Fest in Austin, Texas." And I was like, "Sure, I've never been anywhere other than Waco or Dallas, so why not? I've never been south, even though we're from the south, but you know, we're more from a Texas is so big that we're part of the central area, which Austin is too, and we're 4 hours away from each other. Yeah, about 3.5 if you're a fucking good driver. And I know somebody who can get there in 3 hours, actually. Shit. I was like, yeah, this is cool. So I saved money and I was like really excited. I remember being super excited because I've never been to a place in public where you could smoke weed, unless it was like a Warp Tour, of course, but you know, you'd have to do it in a crowd somewhere in a pit full of nasty, stinky fucking people. But you know, here, you know, I think somebody went before us, and they're like the year prior, and they're like, you can do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want. So I was excited for that. So we all pile up. I don't even remember how we got there. I don't remember who drove. I think my friend, I can't name him, but I know he's watching, and you know who you are. We pile up in his car. I think he was driving a Nissan. Maybe that will give you a hint on who that was. I used to call him Longhorn. Don't know why. Never seen his penis before, but I just called him Longhorn. I don't know why. I was a weird guy. So now most people, well, only that guy probably knows. Trust me, he's not the only one that this is coming out weird. I didn't just call him Longhorn, just me, and nobody knew. It was like his whole name, but like I put it in the middle as his middle name. It makes more sense in context if I could say his name, but I can't, so fuck you. It was not gay. Let's put it that way. Which is nothing wrong with being gay, but let's just, I don't even know okay, so yeah, we pile in his car. And he drives us there. And we get there and everything's cool. There's like the stage, and you could go up there and like fucking, you know, watch people perform. And in the back was like this beautiful skyline of the city. It was so beautiful. And it was just a dope place. People were doing shrooms. People were fucking doing all kinds of shit. I think at one point in time, one of my friends bought a mushroom brownie. Never knew those existed. I don't know if he got fucked up, but you know, he bought one. I think he did get fucked up. You know, but there's security guards walking everywhere. People smoking joints. No one giving a fuck. I saw a cop take a hit of a fucking blunt. You know, like shit was wild, and my fucking little brain, you know, I'm from a small town, so, you know, I had a small town mindset, and it was just exploding all over the place. Just, whoa, like, holy shit, this is insane. I think, strictly was walking around looking at vendors and stuff. I bought a grinder, which I still have. It's this one right here. Holy shit. I just realized that. So I've had this ever since this day that I'm talking about right now. I bought it because, you know, where I was from, it was not easily accessible. I think now you can go to like a little gas station in the middle of the hood now and buy pipes and grinders and other pipes for other things, which, you know, I feel like those should be illegal. You know, maybe, you know those certain type of fucking pipes. They should be illegal. But, you know, I bought that and stuff, and we're walking around and we see this other childhood friend that we had that I hadn't seen in like 3 or 4 years prior to this time. So I didn't see him since we graduated. And I was like, holy shit, it's yada yada. You know, I was like, holy fuck. And he was chilling with his other two homies. And, you know, we sit kind of like on these steps. There's like these weird steps. I don't even know how to describe it. But we're, you know, communicating, talking, and catching up and shit. And he whips out this huge bag of weed, dude. And my eyes light up. And I'm like, this is why I was brought here. other than, him, he's such a cool guy. But I saw this and I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So they start rolling blunt. Like, I think they rolled five. While we were showing up, they were rolling, and they rolled five, and they lit all five, and we started going in a rotation and smoking our fucking brains out. And it was hot, the sun was out, and when you're high and the sun is out, you feel like you're in a dream. Which, if you don't smoke pot, dude, I'm kind of jealous, but you should. I don't drink alcohol or anything like that, but pot's never like pot has such a fucking bad stigma to it, and it's totally false. Anyways, we're smoking, and I'm high out of my fucking mind. And this is why this story is even being told. So I see this guy, like, in the midst of this crowd, come out, and he starts walking like this fucking, like, lizard person. I thought he was like he was literally, like, his spine was like an S shape. And he looked like a cartoon. And he had this red leather jacket with black accents on it. It was like this leather jacket, and it had a Batman symbol on the back. He had boots on, like cowboy boots that had Batman symbols on the side, and they were red as well. He had red leather pants. He looked like Billy Idol because he had this blonde, slicked up hair. And I'm seeing this guy just fucking making his way across the crowd, and I'm like, is this guy real? Am I seeing this guy? Or am I that? Could you get so stoned you start... This is the fucking mascot for weed. He's just fucking just making his way across, and I'm just like, holy shit. Do you guys see this? And all my friends turn over and they're like, what are you talking about? Because I guess he walked like into the crowd by the time I fucking could get my eyes off of him, because he's walking decently fast, but he was just walking insane, dude. And he walks, and I tell all my friends, like, hey, do you see this guy? And they all turn around, they're like, what are you talking about? Because he was gone. And I was like, holy shit, did I really see this guy? And throughout the fucking night, I saw him every once in a while, and I thought I was like hallucinating the whole time, because I was like, I would see him, and then I'll turn back around and he'd disappear, and I'd be like, I'm hallucinating. Maybe I ate something or something like that. But this whole time this is happening, I ended up my night in pretty much front row, and I got to watch the Wailers play. And if you don't know who the Wailers are, it's Bob Marley's old band, and I believe Ziggy, is his name Ziggy or Iggy? I don't know. I think it's Ziggy though. Ziggy, I watched Ziggy Marley be the lead singer and play with the Wailers, which was fucking like awesome, dude. It's amazing. Like I was fucking so close. I lost all my friends at this point because we were like went into the crowd together, but then we just started separating, and I started getting pushed forward. So I just went with the groove, and I got really close. Luckily, this couple beside me like shared their blunt with me. It was such a nice sharing moment. I watched the Wailers, and then we leave, and then I go back to where I lived, and that guy haunted my brain for like... So I think like this year, so maybe if it was 2012, 2013, for like 10 years, I was like, this guy, I wish I could fucking figure out if this guy was real. And guess what? I found out that he's real. And I found information about him. Apparently, he's just like this fucking guy who shows up to like events that are happening in Austin, Texas. And he wants to keep Austin weird. That's, if you don't know about Austin, Texas, that's their fucking slogan, is keep Austin weird. And he does it. I forgot to tell you the main component. He has a fucking Batman logo tattooed on his chest. And that's what really fucking struck me, because this leather jacket was open and you could see his chest, and he had this red Batman tattoo on his chest. So it was like a couple months ago where I decided to Google it and really look into it, and I found out that he's real. So here are a couple fucking photos of this guy that I'm talking about. I mean, he's the strangest character I've ever seen in my entire life. He looks like Billy Idol. He has a Batman logo tattooed on his chest, and he doesn't give a fuck. This is who he wants to be, and he's having a good time, and that's all that matters. But I'm so glad that this guy is fucking real, and now I know I didn't hallucinate. I just witnessed something amazing. You know, and I read it. He even has like fans that, well, not really, but he's like an urban legend pretty much. And there's a Reddit page about him, and people are saying that they've lived by this guy. He drives an old ass Trans Am. Like he's just this stuck in the 80s guy. And I would love to get him on my podcast. So if you guys could somehow figure out his real name or figure out his social media or anything, or how I could get in contact with him, I want to fucking interview him on this podcast and have a good fucking time, dude. And just talk about that moment and what he was thinking from his perspective. That'd be awesome. But fuck yeah, Marley Fest 2012 or 2013, which one? It had to be one of them. And fuck yeah, the dudes that get Batman tattoos on their chest. UFC's taking a little break. I think Mackenzie Dern is going to fight somebody. I don't fucking know. But they've taken a little break, and I mean, let's be real. Most of their events haven't been exciting since the Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman fight. But, and also I want to correct, I know I said Kazmat a lot last episode. I know it's Hamzat. I'm not a big fucking fan of him. I'm sorry. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Is he dominant? Yes. Does he, maybe, is he Darren Till's fucking gay lover? Probably so. There's millions of reasons to love him. I don't know. I'm tired of all these wrestlers. I'm fucking just tired of them. And I'm not saying that wrestlers suck. It's just not exciting. And you can call me a casual. I've been watching for so fucking long, but we have to admit that it is boring. We can't be scared to fucking admit that. The cool thing about that is that it's the start of football season. And I love football. And I used to not like football when I was younger. I mean, I did. I liked Madden more. As I got older, I kind of just appreciated a lot more. And I've always been a Dolphins fan. And a lot of people are probably like, oh, you're jumping on the fucking bandwagon. But no, I really have been a fucking Dolphins fan because of Madden itself. Madden 04 with Michael Vick up on the cover, for example. I played that game, and I think it was around the time that Ricky Williams was on the fucking Miami Dolphins. It could have been 03. I think it was on with Michael Vick on 04 though. And I saw that beside his name that it said Texas, and I'm a big Texas Longhorns fan. My whole family is. Obviously a big Dallas Cowboys fan. They're number one forever and always, because my family's practically from fucking Dallas, so we literally live 40 minutes out of the way, I think, like 40, 30 minutes away from Dallas, from Arlington, where the fucking stadium is. So we're huge Dallas Cowboys fans. But I've been a Miami Dolphins fan for a very long time because of Madden. And because of Rick Williams, I fucking decided to play with that team on franchise. I don't even know if it was called franchise mode back in the day. Killed it. I fucking loved them because of Jason Taylor from the NFL Street game, because he was a fucking beast in that game. So I've always been a fan, even through the Chad Pennington era, the fucking Ryan Tannehill era, the fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick era. I think we had Dante Culpepper for fucking like a season or something. I think we had somebody else fucking weird too, but they've always had a fucking quarterback issue. When we got Kenny Stills, I was pretty happy. It turned into nothing. We've always had a problem in the quarterback area. So when we got Tua, I was super excited, but I was even more excited when we got Hill. That was a big grab, and Waddle. Such a fucking good duo. They were doing so good this year. But the big scare is the Tua head injury that fucking happened. It's just the neglection of caring about your players. I mean, the team, it's just obvious, they shouldn't have played him at all. And You know, because he took that bump in what was it, the second game? I think it was against I'm not for sure if it was against the Chargers, but here's that video, the first bump he took. And I think what happened is you know, he pushed him, and it wasn't that big of a push. You know, it was a decent push to make you fall over, but he hit the back of his head as he fell. It was the way that he fell. He hit the back of his head, and you know, if you're a fighting fan, you know that that's a fucking big problem. So then, I think this took place two days ago or something like that, or yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, Thursday Night Football, and they played, and some other guy slung him to the fucking ground, and he hit his head again, and his fucking hands started like seizing up, essentially. They started seizing up, and you know that's a definite sign of brain damage, neurological damage. You know, a lot of people were talking about that. Mick Foley, actually, the wrestler, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, and just Mick Foley, or Mick Foley, I think is how you say his name. Big wrestling fan. Never would have. I'm not good with names, guys. Hamzat. But he was talking about neurological damage, you know, because he suffered a shitload, possibly from this. So he understands brain damage pretty well, which essentially leads to CTE. In the worst cases, you know, we've seen the results of that, you know, like the Chris Benoit incident where he, you know, murdered his wife and his son and then killed himself. And, you know, they did an autopsy, saw that his brain was equivalent to a 80-year-old man because of all the trauma he put on himself during his career, because his finishing move was a headbutt from the top rope. He would jump off the top rope and hit his fucking head as his finishing move, which it does look cool, but he suffered a lot of head damage from that. He did a fucking horrific thing. You know, the WWE tries to bury his career and his accomplishments, and I think that's fucked up, man. I think it's horrible to do. What he did was bad, but they're not hiding it because they're ashamed of what he did. They're hiding it because they're ashamed of how they handled him as an employee of their company. And they're trying to erase him like it didn't happen, even though they're the main reason why he did what he did. You know, they didn't care about head trauma. You know, and then Junior Seau was another one. I watched that documentary, dude, and it was so fucking sad. You know, he ultimately ended up killing himself, shooting himself in the chest after being retired for, I think, like 5 years, something like that. But he also played for the Miami Dolphins. So, you know, I think he even played with Dan Marino, which is crazy. You know, and that was the last good quarterback we've had before Tua. Like I said, that was fucking 20 years ago. I think Dan Marino retired in 99. And we get Tua, and, you know, we treat him like this, you know. We have a good core team, you know, even our defense is fucking good. So, and then you see that, and you see all the fans talking about the negligence of their, you know, treating their employees to like they're fucking worth a damn, you know. You know, it's, how do you guys think should they be punished? I think they should, definitely. You know, Tua should have a couple games off, even though, you know they have Teddy Bridgewater, which, you know, he's a decently good quarterback, man. That's why I'm like, why are y'all putting him back in when you guys have Teddy Bridgewater? He could fill in for a couple games until Tua's fine, and then you put him in, and, you know, not only do you know, maybe you lost 3 games that you set him out, and you have the rest of the fucking season to play this guy. It's the beginning of the season. You know, A lot of crazy shits happen. With the Dak Prescott thumb thing, they're pushing him forward to play, even though Cooper Rush is doing decently well. But at least they're giving him time off. They could give him a lot of time off just to recover as a person, as a human being, and the way they treat him, they're just thinking about a Super Bowl or even just making the playoffs. And you really shit the bed acting that way. Letting them go out there after this is the shit part, is that happened on Sunday, and then they had a Thursday night football game. And for most people who are football fans, they understand that. But if you're not, usually you have 7 days in between fucking games, Sunday to Sunday, or maybe you have 8 with Sunday to next Monday, So I think he had 5. It was definitely not enough time. And I've had a concussion myself, and it's not good. It sucks. And most of the time they linger for like 6 months. Like if you had a really bad, concussion, they could last for fucking 6 months of just this weird, hazy, cloudy feeling that you can't escape ever because it's your brain, It's just a very dangerous concept. And the fact that they treated it that way just showed a lot about them not caring about their players. And this could, make a lot of players turn their back on the Miami Dolphins and leave. And that's the one thing they don't want to happen, because they finally have a good team after fucking 20 years of sucking ass. And trust me, I've endured all of it, and I'm ready for them to play good. And then this shit happens, and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, that sucks. But that's all I really have about on sports news. I think I had something else in mind for sports news, but once I saw that, I was like, there's nothing else to talk about. There's absolutely nothing else to talk about. Besides the last thing that I have to talk about, and that's that the band Boston sucks balls. And I've always said this, if you know me personally, I fucking hate Boston. I think they suck. The worst band ever. And I give a lot of shitty bands fucking a pass. I'm like, this is all right, Because I'm a musician, and I'm not saying they're not skillful or whatever, but they're shit, dude. And I know why I hate them. So my friend used to take me home every day when we were younger in high school. I didn't have a fucking car, so my friend would have to take me all the way back to town, which is like a 15 to 20 minute drive. And I thank him for that so much, because that's such a nice guy. But he had the CD, and I don't know if I think it was stuck, and it was the greatest hits of Boston. And I would hear this, I'd practically go to his house every fucking day. So he'd drive me back, and I would hear Boston every fucking day on the way back home. And at first it was a jam, we'd sit there and listen to it. But after a while, dude, I started growing this deep disdain for this band. And I couldn't escape them. I would go to a grocery store and they'd be playing, or a clothing store, or just blaring out of somebody's fucking car going down the road. I couldn't escape this band. And now I fucking hate them. So fucking much. They suck. I just wanted to make that point that Boston fucking sucks. Boston's horrible. If you like Boston, you're a basic bitch. That's all I have on that. And that's all I have for this episode. I usually end these things with cringe compilation, but I got fucking demonetized last time I uploaded one, so I'm going to do something different. I'm going to end this a little differently. But first, I need you to subscribe and hit that bell to get notifications each time I upload a fucking video. I will definitely have my Spotify link on the bottom. Check the podcast out on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. By the time this comes out, I'll have all of this uploaded to Spotify. Subscribe to me, or not subscribe to me. Follow me on Instagram at Creature of Comedy to get behind the scene footage and just keeping up with what's going down. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to my other music channel, because I'll have that Tiny Desk concert on there. I'll also have the link to my music Spotify so you guys can check out all those tracks I just dropped. You know, I'm planning to be the best fucking version that I could be for this podcast. And hopefully this podcast had a lot more substance, more feel. You know, you enjoyed it a lot better than those other fucking 2 atrocious piece of shit episodes. So that's it for me. I'm ending this a little differently. I'm leaving you with this message from a wise man. I think a lot of people need to hear it. You know, people need to let their fucking nuts hang, let their titties out. You know, we got to fucking start living with some fucking life in us, man, because I see too many fucking dead souls out there just fucking on autopilot, barely fucking living, man. Tired of seeing that shit. So let's get alive. Let's wake up. Let's make life come a little. You know what I'm saying? Eat the pussy of life and make it come, son. And I leave you with this message from the great Uncle Joey Diaz.
Anyway, have a great weekend. And let me tell you something. Hit it, Lee. Get up, cocksuckers. It's all over. Listen, we had a rough couple of months. Fucking Katrina's cousin Maria. The other one, Puerto Rico, Houston, fucking Florida. Listen, it's been tough up to now. The earthquake in Mexico. You know, the White House, whoever the fuck is going on. But it don't matter. They want to shoot. It's time for us to fucking shoot, cocksuckers. They want to get down and dirty. Don't forget who the fuck we are. You understand me? We're the baddest motherfuckers out there. You send a message to that fucking North Korean. He's gonna be sniffing my dick and sucking my asshole. That's the focus. We're going to North Korea in like a year. It's gonna be an island. It's gonna glow in the dark. You know why? Because we're Americans, cocksuckers. Who the fuck do you think you're dealing with? Stop with the gun control. They're selling more guns than ever the last 3 days. Stop with the fucking whining. Stop with the Russians on Facebook. I don't give a fuck. Worry about yourself. Keep your eyes open and get the fuck off Snapchat and fucking Twitter, cocksucker. Stay black.